Hi. Oh, how are you? How are we doing? How are we doing, guys? Okay. So I promise you guys, I'm gonna tell you a story about my ex and how we met, how we broke up, and yeah, what we had. Was it a relationship? Because I've already spoken to you about how I almost drowned in her care, in his care, in his hands. So yeah, let's get straight to it. So I met Kenan, that's my ex, when I arrived in Ghana some few years ago. I came to Ghana for vacation. As some of you may know, I used to come here a lot from time to time for vacation. So that's when I met him, and then I left the country. I met him in the club with some Lebanese guy friend, and I know his name is El Ross. Cause I knew this guy from when I was working at Nivea before I left. So when I came, I went in contact. No, we met at the club, and then he was also there. So this is how I met Kenan. And the story is he wasn't even the guy I was supposed to date. But fast forward, I met him. I left the country, and then I came back and then I had this friend, a Nigerian friend called Mary Jane. So Mary Jane told me about this app called Tinder. Guys, you know me already. I don't like going out. I don't like men relationships. When I was in Romania, they used to tell me to go out. Like even when I was with Giuseppe used to tell me to go out every single time. Like go out in Romania, they will force me to go out. Yeah, this is how I am. I'll be indoors. So he told me about an app called Tinder. And then she told me it was an app you can meet friends, you can meet guys, because this is the app she was using. And then I went on Tinder. I went on Tinder and I saw him again. I'm like, this guy looks familiar. I've seen him. So, and then we started chatting. So we started chatting, nothing really. Just hi, what's up? Can we meet? And then that was it. So we met. We actually had dinner. And then we met. He didn't show any sign of a relationship or interest or whatever. He didn't show. And I had a fashion show at that time. That was like the beginning of me being in Ghana. They organized a fashion show called I forgot the name of the show. Yeah, I had a show at that time, and at that time too, there was this guy in my life. He's a Portuguese, but he fucked up because it was something that we started like during the time, because this happened in a short while. So I used to go for rehearsals. He would come and pick me. We will go we went to the beach together. That's it. Basically, that's it. And then he will visit me in my house. I visited him in his house. Well, just like a few weeks that I'm talking about. He never showed any interest of boyfriend, girlfriend. One thing I realized is the white people, the males, the females, when they are in Ghana, they behave different from when they are in their country. And with black people, they behave different towards black people than they behave towards white people too. He never showed interest of wanting to be in a relationship with me or wanting to be with me. Well, just casual, like like I told you, casual. He'll pick me and then here and there. So this day, on the fashion day, before the fashion day, something happened. This Portuguese guy fucked up. He fucked one of my friends. We were in a room together, and then I was in the kitchen cooking. When I came, they were having sex. So I broke it off with him. And then this is Kenan. So Kenan bought tickets from me that he was bringing his friends, and then they came, saw my fashion show. And then after that, I visited him in his apartment. He cooked, we had dinner, and then when I was about to leave, he held me and then he kissed me. And then that was it. After that, and then I think we went to the club with his friends. And then the Mary Jane girl I'm talking about, which is um, my friend at the time. We went to the club, we went to the first club, and then we left his friends and then went to the second club. At the second club, from there we went home. From there, I this whole relationship was complicated from the beginning because at the club he was dancing with Mary Jane, but behind Mary Jane, like his ass. So that was the time I was supposed to be like, hell nah, I'm out of here. But I don't know. I still went home with him. And then yeah, that was the day we had sex. That was the day we had sex. And then no, that wasn't even the day. It was the next day because I spent the night with him, and then the next morning that was when it happened. And then from there it started being like casual. So I'll go there, and then casual. At that time he was living at the apartment I showed you, which is the next street to Kenan's, to Robin Street. And then that was where he was living, and then they moved him. So he was working for the US aid. So they moved him to the Flagstaff house. The Flagstaff house, and then I went there. So from there, it was just, yeah, we never really sat and said we want to be in a relationship, we want to date. It was something casual that happened. And then from there to I met a guy. It was something casual. He was doing his stuff, I was doing my stuff. So I met another guy who was what is his name? Mark. I met Mark. And Mark and I, it was like fire, you know. It was crazy. It was crazy. I remember one time we were like speed driving. He was in his car, I was in my car, we were speed driving. Mary Jane too was in on this. We were speed driving, it was fun, and then yeah, we had sex. It was also a one time sex. So we had sex, and then I visited Kenan. So there he sent a message. Mark sent a message whereby I was sleeping. So I was sleeping, and then the message came, and then Kenan read it. So he had already planned whatever guys do behind my back. But then the next day, actually, when it happened between this guy and I, and then I started seeing something different with Kenan. He wanted us to go to South Tome, which we did, which we did. And then I started seeing like he was more serious. He wanted me around more often. He wanted me to be around him more often. But he never said the word, "Will be my girlfriend, let's go in a relationship together, let's do this, let's do this." He never said that. But then things changed. So I also changed. So I was there. We were there one time. I slept. When the message came, "Hey babe, what's up?" and all this stuff. And then I think he did whatever he did with Mark. We went to the club. Mark showed up. I had told Kenan already that, oh, I met some guy. It was casual. Since we were having a casual something, because we were just meeting, having sex, and cuddling. That was it. So I had told him, and then he was like, okay. So fast forward to that, we just ended up being together. We just ended up staying together. Since that day that the incident happened of Mark, him reading my messages, we going to the club, he meeting Mark, and then they confronting each other at the club, making me look stupid, making me look like I was an idiot. That day too was a no day for me to end whatever was going on with Kenan and I, because I was in shock that I spoke to you in the house. So how come we are in the club, and how come I was sleeping and you were able to put my thumbprint on my phone to see my message and then organize something behind my back, which was a no for me, because you had never even proposed to me that you wanted to be in a relationship with me. It was just a casual thing going on. So why do that? But then I still stayed. And then before this whole thing happened, that was the Togo thing, like the Togo trip that we took. Togo, after that incident of I almost getting drowned at the hotel, something happened there too. I wanted to quit because he told me to go back to Ghana, you know. So I came back to Ghana, and then he continued the trip Togo. He said he was going somewhere else. So I continued on the trip. So on my way, I had already made up my mind that now it was over, it was done. When he comes back to Ghana, I'm done with him. Whatever we were having, I was done with him. And then on my way, he started sending me messages throughout my trip to my house. He was texting me, and then when he came back, I still went ahead and then stayed with him. This was before the Mark incident happened. This was before it. So yeah, this was basically it. We never really loved each other, or I loved him, because after the Mark incident, the way he reacted to it, I felt, no, it hurt him. He was in pain because he was doing his thing, I was doing my thing, all right. But it's like I bruised his ego in a way. And me, guys, I'm a lover. I love wholeheartedly. But the unfortunate thing with me is I've never gotten a guy who was like my guy, who was like, I'm gonna ride with this girl, I'm gonna be there for this girl, this is my woman, this is the woman of my life. I've never really met such a guy. So yeah, we just stayed. We just stayed, and then it was something dead. It was just something dead. And fast forward to today, I realized we invited people that wasn't supposed to be there. The people he was claiming they were his friends, they were not his friends, because they also allow certain things to happen. And me, I was new in Ghana. Mary Jane, like I said, Mary Jane, I met her. The day I met Mary Jane, we met at the Eco Bank. I was going to withdraw money. She told me she was a makeup artist, so I put her in a modeling school to do makeups for them, which I don't know what happened between them. They fucked up there, and then that was it. And so that was how I met Mary Jane. And then we never, when I was in Europe, we never really spoke. I never knew what Mary Jane was up to in this country or in her country. So when I came here, at that time she was not somebody that I would call my friend, because she didn't know anything about me. I also didn't know anything about her. She never even told me she was a twin, so I didn't know anything about her, she didn't know anything about me, and then that was it. So I also invited her into my life, because when I was in Ghana before Kenan, we used to just party, have fun. We never really sat and talked about life, about each other, what each other did, or certain things. I remember telling her about Nivea, me working for Nivea and all this type of stuff. It was mostly what I said to her during the time of Nivea, and then that was it. Yeah, and then that was it. She never really questioned me who my parents were, who my mother was. All she was focused on was who was in Europe, who I was going to see. And I told her the person in Europe was my boss, because I was working for him as well. Even though I call him dad, but I was working for him as well. I call him my godfather, but I was working for him as well. So that is all I told her, because Mary Jane has always been focused on the men that are in my life, not on me. Never, never on me. It's always the men. Who is this man? Who is that man? Who does it? So yeah. So I think we invited those people into our life. So yeah. We stayed in what's the name? The Flagstaff house. He was never in the house. He was constantly traveling. You know, he did something that broke me. So I became like I was just there. I was just there. There was nothing really happening. He told me I was vulgar, like he demeaned me. He kept me in a shell. So it was like I was just there and just watching him do everything that he was doing, because in his mind and the picture he painted a picture that I had cheated on him. So since I had already had sex with Mark, he put me in a shell. He wasn't giving me money for even food. We used to go grocery shopping. I drink a lot of water. He would buy only 3 bottles of water. Only 3 bottles of water. He wasn't giving me money. Aside the car that we bought together, he wasn't giving me money. He wasn't taking care of me. I would be vomiting from morning to evening, and this guy would just sit there and watch me. Or he would leave the house, and then by the time he comes back, I'm okay. Then he will just come and be once in a while. Then he will make breakfast when he's going to work. Then sometimes he will just blend um juice, fruit juice. Then he will leave me some and tell me to clean like the place or something. He never showed like affection or love or anything towards me because of what I had done with Mark. So he kept me in a box. I didn't have a say. He would travel, and I completely neglected everybody, even Shelly. I neglected Shelly, but every time I was coming from Europe, Shelly, Marvin, Marvin. I used to go and bath Marvin. I used to go and buy Pampers, food stuff, everything in bulk to go and give to Rebecca. I stopped all that. I used to buy things for Jennifer, for David in Kumasi. I used to come and buy them books, shoes, things. I used to shop rice, bags of rice, tin tomatoes, oil, stuff, everything. I used to pack them, everything, buy things for Elizabeth. Them they were all in Kumasi and Petia in that village. They were all there. I used to buy things for. That's why those kids they love me because I used to pamper them. I used to spoil them. Guys, I neglected everybody. I neglected myself. Was always let's go party weekend, 2 weeks, 2 weeks, with 2 weekends we go to party. 2 weekends we go to party. So one day, and I didn't move in with him. I was still in the apartment which Mr. Onda was paying for me in Ashalibutri. I was still in there. So one day I come, and then Kenan says that there is this guy who came in. He was cooking, and most of the time when we cook, we leave the door open, so that the air will go out and stay in the room. So he was cooking, and one guy just passed by and then saw him, and he wanted to be friends, and he invited us to his apartment, which is also in the same building. So we will be going and all this type of stuff. And I was like, okay. So um this guy's name was Juan, and apparently he is gay. He just moved in the apartment. He needed friends, and then I said, okay, no problem. And then we all, so I wasn't around, and then I think the guy, he communicated with Kenan or whatever, I don't know. And then he said he bought a bottle of drink. He came, and then we all sat down, we spoke. That night he slept in our apartment, and then he the next time he invited Natalia and another Mexican. Is it Mexican, or are they Mexicans or they are Spanish? I think they are Mexicans. um yeah, that is how I met Natalia, and Natalia moved in with me when I broke up with, because the breaking up ended up during that time. So yeah, I was lonely. I didn't have any friends in this country. I didn't have any friends in this country because, like I said, Mary Jane betrayed me, so she was no longer in my life, and she moved to what's the name, she moved to Nigeria. And then the Tina girl who was my friend is the one who had sex with the Portuguese guy. So she too, I stopped being friends with her. So I was lonely, I was miserable here with no friends. That is the life that I was living, no friends. So me, I was clinging to anybody who comes and shows me love. Like I kept telling you guys, like, so we went to the beach. And at that time I had brought Elizabeth to live with me. So we went to the beach, and then the day that we went to the beach, I was like, it's like my eyes started clearing. Like, fuck, I've been living 1 year or 1.5 year of my life like a dead body. Like, I've neglected myself, neglected everybody. What is happening? So I drove I drove directly to that place. I had like a small bag, my return ticket bag that I bent into gold. That was the only bag I had in that apartment. With just a few stuff that I had. I just went in, and the timing was wrong. Because the moment I drove in, he was also coming out of the apartment, because mostly around that time he goes to the gym. So the moment we got there, he was there, and it turned into an argument. And then he said he wanted his key, so he was grabbing the key from me. I don't know what happened, and then my finger got broken. This finger got broken. That's why I have this finger broken, because he took the key from me, told the security guys not to let me into the house. because my things were there in the house. And then yeah, after that day, I still managed to go into the house anyway. And that was when he just told me that he was leaving the country. And then that was it. So that was it, because we were never together, we never broke up, or we were never. Yes, before this day, guys, he told me he wanted to go for a trip at Lake Busumchi. There's a lake in Kumasi, and I said, okay, no problem. So I drove. I drove to Kumasi, and then I had to go and deliver Elizabeth to her mom before we left. So I delivered Elizabeth to the mom. We left. We went. We came back. Even at the vacation place, it was nothing. There was nothing from his side, but I loved him because the day he packed everything in at the airport, he looked at me and he told me that he's the one who fucked up. That's what he told me. Even on his letter, he wrote me a letter, like an apology letter, that he fucked up. That's the letter that he wrote me. So yeah, so he moved. He went to is it Ivory Coast? I followed him there. I helped him unpack. I helped him do everything. At that time, I think he was seeing someone else. He was seeing someone else because of the message that he sent me. And then yeah, so that was basically it. That was basically it. um yeah, there was nothing really. We never really had, like, the I love you moments. It was never like that. And the whole time I blamed myself because of what had happened. But the truth is that I shouldn't have blamed myself, and it wasn't even my fault, because I wasn't the one who didn't say that let's not be serious, let's not be in a relationship. You are a man, and that is what men you do. You meet a girl, and it's like you are trying to see, and time keeps going by. And me too, I was here for vacation. I didn't even know that I would end up picking Elizabeth, renting an apartment, you know, sacrificing my whole life for Elizabeth too. I never knew I would do that. I never knew I would do that. It was like a vacation. Let me go, enjoy, come, and then everything changed. Even though I had planned that I would come to Ghana to come and, start a business here, but that wasn't the timing. That wasn't the timing. That wasn't the right timing, because when I arrived, I didn't know that I'll be in a relationship or whatever that we had. I didn't know I'll go and bring, because Rebecca had a huge house, Elizabeth was in the house. So the plan was for Elizabeth to be in that house with Rebecca. Then I'll support them from afar. Because even the day I went to take Elizabeth, when I brought Elizabeth, I was like, nah, Elizabeth, go back. So I took Elizabeth back. I took Elizabeth back to Rebecca's house, that she should stay there. That was when her mom was there, Madam Rita was there. She should stay there, and then I'll be taking care of her, from afar. And then Rebecca went to the bedroom where she was dead, that we found her dead body. She went into that room, because I took Kenan also there before to see Rebecca. She went into that room, and then Madam Rita poked me. So I got mad, and I took the TV, and then I hit it. The same TV that they asked me if they could have it before they robbed me. I took the TV, and then I broke it. And then that was when I was like, fuck, I fucked up. So Elizabeth, come and let's go anyway. And then I took her because I already fucked up. So it's like they put me in a deep sleep, and then they did things around me. So with Kenan, he shut me up. He shut me up. So this is how our relationship ended. Yeah, it was just, yeah, it wasn't. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, this is how. And then we went to the beach, and then I almost drowned. We went to South Tome. South Tome, when we were in South Tome, we were fighting the whole time. We were fighting the whole time. At one point, he even left me in a restaurant, drove off. I had to take, everything was with him. My passport, my wallet, everything was with him. I had to take the receptionist's phone to call him. He had a South Tome number. I didn't have a South Tome number to call him for him to come back. So yeah, so this is the relationship with me and Kenan, and then why we broke up was because the whatever we were having was already dead, and then he had to move out of the country. So if what we had wasn't dead already, we could have moved in together in Ivory Coast, because Ivory Coast and this place is not far. You can drive, you can go by air. And if we had sat down and spoken, because I remember most of the time he would tell me, he wants a girl who works in the office, who had a proper job, and he was even the one who did my CV for me. And I showed him all the companies I've worked with, because I worked with so many companies from different, but on contract basis. CFO, I did like exhibitions for them. Renault, I did exhibitions for them. So many companies. When I showed him my portfolio, he was shocked. When he was doing my portfolio, he was shocked. I think he never believed me. And at that time, I had just arrived in Ghana. What was he expecting me to do? To go and find a job? Because he kept saying, go and find a job, stop staying in the house, go and find a job, stop staying in the house. But I wasn't ready to find a job, because I had planned that I would do my own job. Because before I even started a relationship with him, I was in partnership with this woman who I used to go and take clothes from to give to Elizabeth. So after I made up my mind, those clothes, they were in the other apartment, and I went to buy that door. I started putting them on the door and taking pictures, getting ready to work. So the day I told him that, I was going to work, I went to Nigeria, went to Mary Jane, and then I told Mary Jane to take me through the Nigerian market, because they were saying that the prices there are cheaper than here. But then looking at the cost of flight and car, the prices, it's made the prices even higher. So after that, I think 2 flights of going and buying things from there, I was like, hell nah. I saw the market here to do. I was like, okay, I'll start working from to do. So I started working there from to do. When I started my business, the day of me traveling, he wanted to give me money, and I was like, nah, I've stayed with you for more than a year or so. You've never cared about me. You've never even given me money that go and relax your hair before. You've never even given me money that buy hair, buy this, do this. You've never given me that. And then all of a sudden, I'm going to work, and I've heard and witnessed so many girls complain that they start their business, and white guys that they've been with give them small money, and they leave the country, and they are there and they are claiming. I'm not going to be one of them. So the dollars that I had in my account, I have a dollar account. That is the money that I went to withdraw, and then I went to Nigeria to go and buy this stuff. So I combined them with the thrifts that I already had in my apartment, plus the things that I brought from Turkey. I mixed them, and then I started my business. The Amazing Eco Tour. It was first fashioned by L. This is how I. He was so mean to me. He neglected me. He will buy like crate of eggs, and he will cook all the eggs and put them in the fridge. We put them all in the fridge, and then when I can even cook for all of us to eat. And when I'm going to eat the food, he will tell me that it's for his week. So he had like a lunch box. So during the week, he will put the proteins, one egg here. Sometimes we will make veggies. He will put the veggies here. If that they have made like garden what's the name, granite soup, then he will put the soup on the side. Yeah, then he will take it to work. That is what he was doing. Then he will blend me the what's the name? You combine fruit, blend it, then I'll drink some. So I just went off. I shut down. I wasn't talking. I wasn't complaining. He will go wherever he wants, come wherever he wants, do whatever he wants. At night, he will leave me in the bedroom, go and be on his computer. He will come to bed around like 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m. That's when he will come to bed. Then the next morning, he will wake up at 7 and leave to work, and then come back at 7 o'clock. So he will tell me he close at 7. Then he will go to the gym. He will come home at 7, take a nap, I want to touch him, he will tell me not to touch him. It was like we're living like roommates. So when he feels like having sex with me, then he will have sex with me. When he feels like cuddling me, then he will come close to me and cuddle me. And when I want to leave, he will tell me not to leave. This is the relationship that we had. So yeah. So it was because he left the country. That is how come we broke up. So before he left the country, this is how I met. Like before he left the country, we went for like a bike show. We went for a bike show, and then this is where that's I think Robin saw me, and I don't know that side of Robin too, because to today it seems the two of them, maybe they had a plan towards me, or I don't know what was going on with both families. That one too will come in the next videos. So guys, this is what I remember so far. Whatever that comes back to my mind, the camera is to roll, and I'll let you know. Whatever you want to know to, you can ask in the comment section, and then I will let you know. So the Kumasi trip that we went, it was a trick into going into going with at Elizabeth village. You know, it was a trick into finding out who I am, who my family is, without asking, because Elizabeth was there. He told me we were going to the lake. So because I was going to drop Elizabeth, then he took the chance to go to that village, because upon our arrival, he brought out a cloth and then she gave it to Madame Rita, which I had no idea that he had in his bag, which I had no idea he had even planned that there will be a woman in that place that he would give it to. So yeah, this is how it all went. And yeah, maybe if he was nice to me, if we were in good partnership, I would have gone to Ivory Coast with him and we would stay there together. Maybe we'll have a child together, because I really, really loved him. I really, 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 really loved him. I loved him. I loved him. When he went, and then he came back. He came back after a year or so. He wanted to see me. I said no. I didn't even see him. At that time, I was on the way to the northern region with Mazin, because I used to accompany Mazin to trips. Like when he was going on trips for his business, I used to accompany him. I said no, I didn't want to see him because I was still going through the pain of him breaking my finger. In Abidjan, he never even cared to ask me, like, how is your finger? How are you doing? You know, is there any merit? Or because my finger is crooked, is broken, is there any merit? He never really, really cared. It was just fight. He was throwing pillows at me. He was demeaning me how I don't know how to cook. Even though I cook perfectly, he was comparing me with Elizabeth, comparing me with his internship at work. Yeah, so this is it. And I don't blame him, I don't blame me. Maybe it wasn't the right time, maybe I wasn't the one, maybe he wasn't the one. So yeah. So yeah. Thank you for listening. Whatever the case is, life goes on. I love you guys for listening. Kiss you. All the best.